Hello everyone. In this lecture, let's try to interface 24AA256 EEPROM with our microcontroller ATmega16 through I2C communication. Let's get started. So this is the circuit for simulation. You can see I have connected the LCD to port A and port B, and you can see this PC0 is the clock pin of I2C communication and this PC1 is the data line of I2C communication, and this is the I2C debugger that is available in Proteus. You can find this I2C debugger in the instruments tab over here. And here, as I said in the previous lectures, these IOs will be configured in the open drain configuration. That is why I have provided a pull-up resistors over here. And this is the 24AA256 EEPROM, and you can see this is the clock pin and this is the STA through which I am connecting the STA and clock of microcontroller, and this A0, A1 and A2 are used for addressing of this EEPROM. We will see that in a few minutes, and this is the circuit that we are going to use for simulation. And you can see in our Atmel Studio I have written the LCD functions over here, and these are the functions for LCD. And to the port A I have connected the data lines of LCD, and RS is connected to PB0, RW is connected to PB1, and enable is connected to PB2. And here you can see these are the IO configuration for LCD. And regarding the I2C pins, I have configured the pins as input. So as I mentioned in the previous lecture, this I2C buses will be configured in open drain configuration. So we just want to make these pins as input before communicating. So that is why we have made all the pins of port C as input before communicating using two-wire interface. And I have initialized the LCD, and I am going to the first row first column of the LCD and I am printing EEPROM value, and I am going to the second row first column of the LCD and I am waiting for the data to be printed. So in the previous lectures, that is previous two lectures, we just saw these functions, right? These are the functions for I2C communication. So we have configured the I2C at 100 kHz frequency, and I am copying all these functions. I hope you understood all these functions. If you are not clear with these functions, you can go back to the previous lectures for better understanding. I am copying this function and I am pasting over here. So all the functions required for I2C communication in ATmega16 has been pasted over here. And in another lecture we just saw these two functions. So this function hex to ASCII is used for printing the data that we are receiving from the EEPROM to the LCD, and this function is used for converting the decimal data from our program to hexadecimal before transferring the data to the EEPROM. So we require these two functions also. I am copying this and I am pasting above all these functions, and that's it about the function definitions that we require. And now we are just going to implement the write and read operations from our microcontroller to EEPROM using I2C communication. So going to the data sheet of 24AA256, you can see 24AA256, 24LC256, 24FC256 are sharing a single data sheet. So you can use any one of the EEPROMs for communicating. The procedure is the same. So the first and foremost thing that we want to see is slave address of this device. So this slave address is depending on this A0, A1 and A2 pins of the EEPROM that is provided in the data sheet over here. You can see the address of this device is 1010 A2, A1, A0, and the last bit is read or write bit. So we know that if this bit is 1, read operation is performed, and if this bit is 0, write operation is performed. Since we have grounded these 3 bits, these 3 bits will be having the value 0, and this 1010 is nothing but hexadecimal A. So for writing to this EEPROM, the address is 0xA0, and for reading from this EEPROM, the address is 0xA1. So initially, for writing to the EEPROM, you can see this is the sequence for writing to the EEPROM. So the communication starts with start bit and the slave address. So as I said in the previous lecture, we are just going to use the I2C start function. So this function receives a parameter with the slave address. As I said, for writing the data, the address is 0xA0. So this line will send a start bit, following that it will send a slave address of the device. So up to this step, the function call is completed, and after that we are receiving an acknowledgement, and then we are passing the higher byte of the address, then we are receiving an acknowledgement, and then we are passing the lower byte of the address, and then we are passing an acknowledgement, and then after that we are passing the data that needs to be stored. So what we are going to do is, we are just going to go to the address of 0x3245 of EEPROM, and we are going to store the data 0x98. MSB address is 0x32 and LSB address is 0x45. So as per the sequence, we just want to send the MSB, that is high byte first, and then we just want to send the low byte. So for that, I'm just going to use the function I2C write, and I'm passing 32. Here we can pass the decimal data itself, as we are using this decimal to BCD function for converting the data that we send to this function into hexadecimal. So we can directly pass the decimal data to this function, and after that I am passing the lower address, that is 45, and after that, as per the sequence, we just want to send the data that needs to be written. So that is nothing but 98. Then after that, you can see in the sequence that we just want to send the stop bit. That can be sent by calling the function I2C stop. So this function will send a stop bit to the EEPROM, and that's it. You can see the write sequence is complete, and we have successfully written the data 98 to 0x3245 of EEPROM. So after this, I'm just giving a small delay of 1000 millisecond, that is 1 second, and now I'm just going to read the data from the EEPROM address 0x3245. So you can see this is the sequence for reading from the EEPROM. Initially we just want to start the process with start bit. Following that, we just want to give the slave address along with write bit. So I just want to start the process with 0xA0. The same process I just want to do. Then after that, I just want to send the high byte address, then low byte address. I am doing that. So this address is nothing but the address from which we just want to read the data. As I want to read from the same address, I am giving that. Then again, we just want to restart the process with restart bit, or you can send a start bit, that is not a problem. So I'm using the repeated start function with the slave address along with read bit, that is nothing but 0xA1. Then after that, we just want to read the data then we just want to send a not acknowledgement bit, then the operation is stopped using the stop bit. So for reading the data with NAC bit, you can use the function I2C NAC. So that function must be called with a variable. So I am calling like this, I2C read NAC. So this function call will store the data that we read from the EEPROM to the variable called data. This data variable is declared globally over here, and we will get this data variable filled with the data that we are acquiring from the EEPROM address 0x3245. Then after that we just want to stop the process using the I2C stop function, and that's it. The sequence is complete. Then we just want to print the data that we get to the LCD, right? For that we can use the text to ASCII function, and we are passing the variable data. So this will print the data variable onto the LCD. So I'm going to the second row first column of the LCD and I'm printing the variable data. So initially I just forgot one step, that is I just want to initialize the I2C communication using the I2C initialize function. So this function will initialize the clock of the I2C to 100 kHz. So that's it about the programming part. Now I'm building the project using the build icon over here. Build is succeeded. Now I'm loading the program. Initially you can see start bit following A0, then the acknowledgement is received, then 32 acknowledgement, 45 acknowledgement, and the data that we are writing 98, then the acknowledgement is sent and the stop bit is sent. So this is the right sequence that we did in the program. I hope you remember this. This is the right sequence. And now when I resume the simulation, you can see this is the read sequence. 98 is now received and that is printed over to the LCD. For uploading the program onto the microcontroller, firstly connect the USB ASP programmer to your PC through USB port. And then connect the JTAG connector from your USB ASP programmer to your development board. If you are not having a development board, or if your development board is not showing this JTAG terminal, you can directly connect the terminals of USB ASP programmer to your microcontroller pin nodes as per this circuit diagram. And you can build this circuit in a breadboard for programming your Atmega 16 microcontroller. After that, power up your development board using external 12V 1A adapter. Once you have done this, open the Program ISP software and choose the microcontroller required in Select Chip drop-down box. Then after that, you just want to check this Program Flash checkbox and then check this Program Fuse and Verify Flash checkbox. And then you just want to set the clock to external crystal oscillator in the fuse bits configuration. Go to the fuse and lock configuration bits tab and here set the clock selection 3, clock selection 2, clock selection 1 and clock selection 0 to be 1. These 4 bits must be 1 for selecting the external crystal oscillator. And now click on this right and you can see the fuse bits will be loaded. Now click on the load flash icon. Go to the respective project folder and inside the debug folder you can find this text file. Click on it and click on open. Click on this erase to erase the chip and then click on this auto button for uploading the program to the microcontroller. and the programming is successfully done. Now build the circuit to see the output in the hardware. You can see this is the output that I got in my hardware. See you in the next lecture. Thanks for watching.